one of the least addressed subjects in spiritual community today, I feel, is the subject of food in relation to the spiritual sadhana, or spiritual practice. It seems to me that the whole aspect of our nourishment, of what we feed ourselves with on a daily basis, is being entirely overlooked. Yet if we look into the spiritual literature of all perennial philosophies, of all perennial traditions, then we will find that tremendous importance was given to what we eat, especially to what we eat when we would like to re-establish a true relationship with our own self. I mean, it is pretty obvious that you are what you eat, or we are what we eat, the Indian proverb. Because food particles go to make brain cells. And brain cells is what makes this whole kind of like process of transformation of consciousness possible from that very level, from the level of shift in perception, from the level of shift in understanding. So I would say that food, or what we eat, is important at the very early stage of spiritual practice. It's important for someone who is who just basically entered this whole process. Food is important for the one who undergoes the transformative process. So food is important for someone in whom consciousness is already awakened. And food is important for someone in whom consciousness has awakened, transformed the physiology, and reposes, so to speak, in order to integrate all these experiences in a newly charged with new energy physiology. So food is important in all stages. There is no stage where food becomes redundant, or what we eat becomes redundant. There is no such a place in our practice where we can say, oh, now I can eat or drink whatever. It's absolutely doesn't affect my state of awareness, my state of consciousness. It is absolutely untrue. Those who will tell you that it doesn't matter what they eat, because it doesn't affect their level of consciousness, they either not sincere or simply do not understand what they're talking about. This podcast, this video talk, is to open up this subject. So I invite you all to submit your questions, your suggestions, and basically sharing your knowledge in your comments, so that we can take it from here in order to explore this subject in depth. Because food, basically, it's consciousness itself. Everything that we eat has consciousness. Absolutely everything. Not only that, every item of food with which we nourish ourselves has different quality of energy. It is charged with different energetic vibrations. So the food that we consume either contributes to that transformation of consciousness within or sabotages this whole process. This has to be understood right from the beginning, because this is a very important subject and many seems to be too blasé, too placid about it, and it should not be so. Because if we are to awaken collectively, we have to radically change our entire attitude towards what we eat, how we produce our food, how we harvest it, how we distribute it, and how we consume it. This whole process has to be redressed. But we will start from a very basic. We will start from a very kind of here and now approach, so that it would be beneficial for everyone right from the start. So in this particular talk, I would like to address the quality of food. According to the Samkhya philosophy, which is at the base of both Ayurveda and Yoga, all nature consists of three primordial energies: Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. In other words, balance, light, which is Sattva, energy, motion, desire, which is Rajas, and stability, stagnation, inertia, which is Tamas. All these three qualities of nature are rotating constantly, and in their mutability we experience day and night, seasons of the year, emotional and psychological changes within. Likewise, all the food we eat carries those vibrations within. So there is some food which is mostly, predominantly, let's say, Rajasic. What does it mean? It means that that food promotes excessive desire, it promotes perhaps energy, it promotes kind of passion and heat in the body, while some other food is tamasic, which promotes inertia, stability, but at the same time a certain degree of heaviness. And likewise there's food we call sattvic, which promotes balance, equilibrium, and light in the body. It is the sattvic food that is the most important for the one who is practicing yoga or any form of meditation, because sattvic food goes to make sattvic cells, and sattvic cells of the body, that what allows consciousness to be experienced on the level of physiology, because the nature of the mind is actually sattva. It is not in the nature of our mind to wander around constantly and have thoughts, even if some believe so. The nature of the mind actually is to be very still and know its own self. That's what in the nature of the mind. That is sattva. And in order to experience that on the level of the mind has to be fed with sattvic food. And when we will talk about food, we will talk about food not only in terms of the physiological substance that grows and is produced, but also the impressions with which we feed our mind. But that is an entirely different subject. Let us take one step at a time.